Here we are live once again in the Storycraft Cafe. I am Hank Garner, and joining me today, Sam G, as she has for the this is the fourth week in a row that we have been here to talk about Preptober and getting ready for NaNoWriMo, which is next week. Sam, can you believe it? It's
Oh, it comes too fast.
I know I got such comfort from knowing that it was a month away, and now it's just it's this time next week, and all the stress that comes with it's we do this to ourselves each year. We put
We do.
ourselves in this stress on purpose. Can you believe it? But it's so much fun, and so many good stories have begun as NaNoWriMo projects. The books that I've written down here that I've published, almost all of them have have began as a NaNoWriMo project,
That's
and
awesome.
they may not, wind up being exactly that in the end, but NaNoWriMo has been very good to me and very good for me, and I hope other people, get that same sort of enjoyment and benefit from this amazing event that happens every year. I posted in the chat a few minutes ago of the video before we get started. If any of our listeners out there are planning on participating in NaNoWriMo, comment what genre you're writing in and anything that you want to share. Then I know that a lot of viewers will come in after the live stream ends, but I'll be checking comments and stuff. And please, chime in with what you're working on this year. It'll be fun to kind of have some community involvement around this. I was right before we got started. I was asking Sam, have you got your project kind of all squared away? How are you feeling about your preparation at this point?
Pretty decent. I'm starting a brand new novel on this one. I
Nice,
finished my first novel, what will be my debut novel, last November. So,
nice,
hoping to get another one.
awesome. What are you planning to publish that? Have you been doing edits and like what?
Um, I
Where?
have. So, it's currently with a couple other beta readers. So I'm
Okay,
waiting on their feedback. And then since November and December are typically nano and holiday seasons, I
right.
figured I'd wait until January to start looking up agents because that's just not fair
Fine.
to them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and uh, I deal with a lot of publicists from big publishers, and with getting authors to do interviews and things like that. And I'll tell you what, at the end of November through the first of the year, it's like half of New York just leaves for the holidays, and getting an email response from anyone is you know in January, everybody comes back with a purpose, and so yeah, I totally understand your decision to give it a little time. That's probably great. Black Blade joins us again today. I'm actually torn. My novel genre is fantasy, but I'm thinking of writing a thriller urban fantasy on this occasion. Haven't got a final idea though. I'm with you, Black Blade. I was telling Sam earlier that I've got a couple of ideas that are competing, and I guess I'm going to work this weekend to kind of see which one I feel like has more legs than the other. But fantasy and thriller or mysteries and urban fantasy, I think, are as Jim Butcher has proved with the Dresden Files. That's
Yes.
a great mix up mashup of genres. There's just something really fun about urban fantasy and mysteries, thrillers that they just really work together. And that's kind of funny because our little project that we've been working on through this video series, that's what we've done. Is we've kind of picked those two genres, mashed them up, and it's been a lot of fun.
It has.
Yeah. So I had an idea. I released a video on the Dabble channel a couple of days ago, and it was AI tools for writers, and this one was Chat GPT was the focus. And there's been a lot of talk about Chat GPT specifically, and AI tools, and are they going to be the death of creative writing and publishing? There's a lot of opinions, and a lot of great arguments on both sides. And this is not we're not going to try to settle that debate on whether AI tools um, are are good for writers or not. That's not what this is about. But what we're going to do is show how you might use these tools that are available to help you in the planning stage. What I think a lot of people are scared that ChatGPT and other AI tools are going to just write novels, and the marketplace is going to be flooded with really terrible novels. And I'm not saying that that won't happen in some form or fashion, but I don't think that's going to be the norm. I'm just not. I don't. I'm not coming from the place of fear that this is going to take over. I just don't see it being the end all be all for writers, but I do think they can be very beneficial for writers in a lot of ways. Um, Sam and I, in the first session we brainstormed and bounced ideas off each other. And as you could see, where one person has an idea and kind of pitches it to the other, and the other sort of, takes a nugget of that idea and it becomes something else, and they pitch it back. And the two people come up with ideas that neither one of them really had, but there's something about the conversational aspect of having a writing partner that's just fun. Well, what if you don't have someone that you can bounce ideas off of? Well, some AI tools can be a decent stand-in for that. And we're gonna look at a couple of those examples today. So we're gonna open up our Dabble project that we've been working on here, the Lost Plot, if you guys remember. And then we had in our story notes, we created this folder called brainstorming, and we had a document in here called ideas. And this is where we were just kind of brainstorming and bouncing ideas off each other. And I think Sam came up with the idea of Tolkien elves. And we said, what if Tolkien's elves aged into the modern era? And then we thought, well, what if one of those elves was interacting with humans on a on a regular basis, and pretending to be just a normal person, kind of in disguise, so to speak. And then we had the idea of a character called Mira, and maybe she's a lawyer, and maybe she has will discover that she has access to magic, and all of a sudden this kind of lawyer story or mystery becomes an urban fantasy. And then we thought of the character of Sylvester, and what if he was a mob boss, and he was dealing in stolen artifacts. And then what if one of those stolen artifacts was a magical artifact, and he didn't know what he was doing, but he wound up you know dealing with an object that could literally unleash hell on earth. And so that was a fun concept to play with, and we started playing with how to so some side characters and a setting, and what could possibly happen. And so you really saw how having two people to bounce ideas off of, just the story grows and grows, and unlocks creativity that maybe you don't have access to when it's just you staring at a blank screen. um, one thing that is kind of fun is I came up with this prompt a little while ago, and I took some of the ideas that Sam and I came up with, and this is what I said: help me come up with a story synopsis for an urban fantasy novel about a female lawyer named Mira. Mira has a private investigator named Roger that she hires occasionally to dig up background information on clients. Unbeknownst to Mira, Roger is an elf from the world of Lord of the Rings and has survived into the modern world. Mira takes on a client named Sylvester that is a mafia boss and gets into legal trouble when he steals and then tries to resell a historical artifact that he doesn't realize has magical connections. As Roger peels back the layers of Sylvester's deception, he realizes that the artifact that Sylvester stole could unleash hell on Earth. Roger is forced to reveal his identity to Mira. Next door to Mira's law firm is a cafe run by Sean, a budding love interest to Mira. Sean becomes an accomplice to Mira and Roger in their fight to save the world, while also not breaking Mira's attorney-client privilege with Sylvester. Let me rephrase that a little bit to make it a little easier to understand. Sean becomes an accomplice to Mira and Roger in their fight to save the world. So I'll put a period. That's a complete thought. Maybe we rephrase this to Mira has to solve this mystery and return the artifact while not breaking her attorney-client privilege with Sylvester. Does that sound a little more succinct? I feel like I was it was a run-on sentence that could be easily misinterpreted. Okay, does that kind of sum up kind of the starting scenario for our story?
Yeah.
That can kind of get a hold of everything. All right, so I'm going to copy that prompt. And remember, if you're using AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude.ai is the other one we're going to look at today, they're kind of competing language models, and there's a lot of specifics under the hood that we may or may not touch on, but they do basically the same thing, but in a little different way. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to come over to ChatGPT, and we're going to start a new chat, and we're just going to paste in that prompt.
Boy, ChatGPT's changed since the last time I was here.
Oh yeah, it is definitely morphing. So this let's read what it spit out. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste it into our Dabble project.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm gonna say ChatGPT response. And we're going to paste that. So, ChatGPT said the synopsis: Mira Collins is a successful and no-nonsense lawyer in a bustling city. She takes on high-profile cases, but when her clients need a little extra investigative work, she calls upon Roger, a discreet private investigator with an uncanny knack for uncovering hidden truths. What Mira doesn't know is that Roger is no ordinary PI. He's an elf who has crossed over from the mythical world of Lord of the Rings into the modern era. Mira's latest client, Sylvester Morelli, I love that it gave them last names, is a shadowy figure known to be the head of a powerful mafia family.
Oh, so he's the head now.
Hey, Sylvester has gotten himself into a heap of trouble by stealing a mysterious and ancient artifact with magical properties. Oblivious to the artifact's supernatural connections, he plans to resell it for a hefty profit. Little does he know that this artifact holds the key to unimaginable chaos and destruction. As Roger delves into Sylvester's twisted web of deception, he uncovers the dangerous history of the artifact. With every layer he peels back, he realizes that the very fate of the world is at stake. With no other choice, Roger is forced to reveal his true identity as an elf to Mira. Mira's world takes an unexpected turn when her coffee-loving next-door neighbor Sean, a charismatic and inquisitive cafe owner, enters the scene. Sean, whose curiosity rivals his affection for Mira, quickly becomes an accomplice in their quest to save the world. Caught between her loyalty to the law and her responsibility to protect the world, Mira must find a way to solve the mystery and return the artifact without violating attorney-client privilege with Sylvester. With Roger's otherworldly knowledge, Sean's unwavering support, and Mira's legal expertise, they embark on a perilous journey to prevent the impending apocalypse. Along the way, they encounter mythical creatures, navigate dark secrets, and unlock their own hidden potentials. Shadow Justice is an urban fantasy novel that weaves together the realms of law, magic, and love as Mira, Roger, and Sean race against time to thwart the cataclysmic consequences of Sylvester's actions, all while discovering the true power of unity and sacrifice. That's pretty good. There's maybe some cliche in there, but that's not bad.
No,
It added some texture. It gave us right. That is a story um I would read. So so anyway, so we can kind of paste that into our brainstorming ideas. Um, excuse me, I've got to pop in a cough drop. The okay, so we've got a synopsis that kind of sums up our story. Where what can Chat GPT help us to do from there? Um, this is from this synopsis. Can you help me develop um back well the develop a back cover blurb for this story? So we're going to ask it this, how could we develop some marketing copy for the back cover of the book that wouldn't give away everything, wouldn't um so let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. Um
that's a pretty long back cover blurb.
that's a very long back cover blurb. Let's see. Certainly, here's a back cover blurb for Shadow Justice. In the heart of a bustling city, Mira Collins is a formidable lawyer with a penchant for taking on high profile clients. When her cases require an extra dose of investigation, she turns to Roger, a discreet private investigator who's more than meets the eye. Little does she know that Roger is an elf from the mythical world of Lord of the Rings, carrying secrets from a bygone era. Um, I like the little inclusion of carrying secrets from a bygone era. That's a nice touch that kind of makes you think of things. Mira's latest client, Sylvester Morelli, is an enigmatic head of a powerful mafia family. He's on the run from the law after stealing an ancient magical artifact unaware of its supernatural significance. Sylvester plans to sell it for a fortune, but this artifact holds the key to unleashing unimaginable chaos upon the world. As Roger uncovers Sylvester's treacherous web of deceit, he realizes that the fate of the world hangs in the balance with no other choice. He unveils his true identity to Mira, setting in motion a chain of events that will challenge everything she thought she knew. The bustling city is not just a backdrop, it's teeming with secrets and magic. Caught between her commitment to the law and duty to protect the world, Mira. Da 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 da. Shadow Justice is an urban fantasy novel that weaves together the realms of law, magic, and love. Okay, that's not bad, but like you said, that's pretty verbose. That's more than. I wonder if it could summarize. Can you summarize this blurb into maybe 3 paragraphs?
I think so, yeah.
Let's see what it. Certainly, here's a condensed version. Okay. In the bustling city, Mira Collins, a fearless attorney, enlists the help of Roger, a discreet investigator with a hidden identity as an elf. Her latest client, mafia boss Sylvester Morelli, has stolen a mysterious ancient artifact with catastrophic magical potential. Unaware of the artifact's danger, Sylvester plans to sell it, setting in motion a perilous chain of events. As Roger unveils his true identity to Mira, a charming cafe owner named Sean, Mira's neighbor becomes an unexpected ally in their quest to save the world, balancing loyalty to the law and the responsibility to protect the world. Mira races against time. Together, they embark on a journey of magic and secrets, encountering mythical creatures, unlocking hidden potentials, and confronting dark truths. Shadow Justice weaves the realms of law, magic, and love as Mira, Roger, and Sean unite to thwart the cataclysmic consequences of Sylvester's actions. Their mission to preserve the world's delicate balance, prevent an impending apocalypse, and discover the true power of unity and sacrifice. The fate of the city and the world rests in their hands. That's much better.
It
Um,
is.
you can, if you don't like what ChatGPT gives you, there you can hit the regenerate button and have it try again. Let's see if it comes up with any. Okay, this time it labeled the paragraphs. That's kind of weird, but okay. Um, but it's not bad. So let's take what it came up with here and copy and put this into our. And I think it's safe to delete the paragraph headings. I'm not sure exactly why it did that, but okay. So we've got a synopsis and we've got a back cover blurb. Um, I wonder if ChatGPT could help us to outline. Can you help help me outline this novel using Jessica Brody's Save the Cat Writes a Novel beats? Can you help me outline this novel using Jessica Brody's Save the Cat Writes a Novel beats?
That's an interesting suggestion.
Yeah. So okay, and we've got all of the beat titles that Jessica talks about in Save the Cat Writes a Novel. Let me open up the. Aren't there sample beat sheets in the back of this book? Okay, so in Save the Cat, the first beat, opening image, the setup is number 2, theme stated number 3, 4, the catalyst number 5, the debate. Yeah, that's all of the Save the Cat beats right there. So let's see how it. Opening image. We meet Mira Collins, a confident lawyer, and Roger, her enigmatic elf private investigator. Mira takes on a new client, Sylvester Morelli, a mafia boss who seeks legal help but is hiding a dangerous secret. Then the setup. Mira takes Sylvester's case, unaware that it involves a stolen magical artifact. Meanwhile, Sean, the charming cafe owner next door, develops a budding relationship with Mira while Roger begins to uncover the artifact's mystical history. I like in the setup how it, kind of creates a little storyline for each character and, setting the stage with all three of them. That's nice. Theme stated. The theme of balancing the law and protecting the world's magical secrets become evident as Mira navigates her client's case and Roger delves deeper into the artifact's history. The catalyst, Sylvester's theft of the magical artifact, becomes known to a group of powerful and malevolent beings who desire its power. They set in motion a series of events that threaten the world. And then we go through all the story beats. Down to the finale, number 14, a thrilling showdown unfolds with Mira, Roger, and Sean using their unique strengths to face the malevolent beings and reclaim the artifact. And then beat 15, the world is safe once again, but Mira, Roger, and Sean have all undergone transformation. Mira has found her place in the balance of law and magic. Roger has embraced his new role as a guardian, and Mira and Sean's relationship deepens with newfound understanding and trust. This outline follows Jessica Brody's beats while weaving in the elements of urban fantasy and the central themes of law, magic, and love in Shadowed Justice. So that is really, really good. Let's copy this and put this over here in our and put that in our Dabble project just so we can kind of keep all of this. And we're still putting all this stuff in our brainstorming kind of folder here. It's not writing the book for us, but um, but it's kind of helping us in this brainstorming process. Now, we'll take this one step more difficult. Um, let's try this. Can you take the 15 story beats and develop a 25 chapter outline for this novel? And now we're asking it to go a little deeper. Well, certainly we can. Okay.
I like how it
And
names the
here's
chapters too. Oh, most of them.
okay. Yeah. You see that it kind of got lost there. Um, let's see. So it's got chapter 1 opening image, chapter 2 setup. So this is just following those beats until it gets to 15, and then after that it kind of loses the plot. Um, let's see. Let's try to regenerate that and see if it gets it. Yeah, see, it's still not quite. It's trying to do a one for one, and this is where I wanted to show um, that this is not exactly perfect. This is one more reason why the idea that ChatGPT is going to replace writers. Well, it's not, as you can see right here. So let's try one before we go over to Claude and kind of give it a shot. Let's try one more thing. Can you write chapter 1 of this novel for me? And let's just see what it comes up with. So it's spitting out some text. Okay,
That's a short chapter.
that is a short chapter, and that's one. Let's go to wordcounter.io and let's take what it spit out there. Let's highlight and copy just this chapter 1 and put it in here. 533 words. That's two
That's
pages.
that's pretty short.
Roughly. Yeah, 250 words per page is the standard. That's a 2-page chapter. It's not gonna work. Um, and let's just kind of look at the prose that it generated. Mira Collins had always prided herself on being a lawyer who never got rattled, but today, standing in her elegant office overlooking city skyline, even her steely composure wavered. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased a sprawling metropolis of glass and steel. Yeah, I mean it could use some work. But not bad for for brainstorming, like we said. I wouldn't ask this to write your book for you. But let's keeping the tools in their proper place, I think is key.
Yeah.
So let's take the same prompt. Okay, Claude.ai is made by Anthropic, and you can just go to Claude.ai and you can sign up for free, just like ChatGPT. These are free to use. So let's take our same prompt that we used from ChatGPT, and we're just going to copy it, and we are going to go to Claude, and we're going to paste this in. Now, one thing to think about when using Claude, your prompts can be much, much bigger than with ChatGPT, and they talk about in terms of token size, and that's a bit of detail that you don't need to worry about. But Claude's token size that it can read and use is so much bigger than ChatGPT. You can really work on very detailed prompts that you can feed into Claude. You can even feed in big chunks of text that you have written from other novels, and you can give it a sample of what your writing style looks like, and it can take that into account. Um, so, um, pretty nice. So, but we're going to start with Claude with the same exact prompt that we gave ChatGPT, and we're just going to see what it comes up with. We saw what ChatGPT did with it. Um, okay, Mira is a hard-working lawyer in the city who occasionally hires a private investigator named Roger to help with difficult cases. What Mira doesn't know is that Roger is actually an elf from Middle Earth who has survived into the modern world. Um, that's interesting that it knew that the world of Lord of the Rings is Middle Earth. That's interesting. When Mira takes on a new client, Sylvester, she gets more than she bargained for. Sylvester is a mafia boss who has recently stolen a historical artifact to resell on the black market. However, unbeknownst to him, this artifact has magical origins and the power to unleash havoc if misused. As Roger investigates Sylvester's activities, he soon discovers the truth about the artifact. Forced to reveal his true identity as an elf to Mira, Roger warns her that they must recover the artifact before Sylvester inadvertently brings about the end of the world. Mira and Roger race against time, trying to solve the mystery and retrieve the powerful object while staying within the bounds of attorney-client privilege. Meanwhile, Mira finds an ally in Sean, the handsome owner of the cafe next door to her firm. With Sean's help, Mira and Roger navigate both the magical and legal obstacles in their path to save the city from certain doom. Um, that's a little more succinct than ChatGPT came up with. It did not assign last names to these characters like ChatGPT did, which is interesting. Um, Black Blade said, I've been assuming that Mira is a criminal lawyer, but in the story, she could, of course, be arranging a contract for sale of the artifact. You're absolutely right. That's not something I've really thought a lot about, but you're absolutely right. Um, One thing I just thought about, since this doesn't give as much, um, doesn't kind of assign names and some of the other things that ChatGPT did, let's ask Claude, um, can you develop a bio and backstory for Mira? Let's see what Claude can come up with.
Long line of prominent lawyers.
Known for her sharp intellect and tireless work ethic, she made partner at one of the most prestigious firms in the city by the time she was 30. That's okay. Um, Long line of lawyers, so entering the legal profession. She graduated top of her class from Yale Law School. Um, Cutthroat world of corporate law. Underneath her cool, detached exterior at work, Mira craves adventure and excitement. She feels the void in her life by avidly practicing martial arts, rock climbing, and surfing in her free time. She also voraciously reads fantasy and science fiction stories, imagining herself in thrilling, high stakes situations beyond the confines of boardrooms and courtrooms. See, now that's a little detail that I, I don't know that I would have thought about, but can, because she's a fan of sci-fi and fantasy, when Roger reveals himself as a Tolkien elf, that's got to have even more meaning for her since she's a fan. Like that's a little detail that I think will be a great nugget in writing this character and how the story unfolds because she has an attachment there. Um, so that's very cool. I like that. Um, let's copy this and let's change Mira to Roger and see what Claude can come up with. Now, because of what we said earlier about the token size being so much larger for Claude AI versus ChatGPT, it can the conversation that you kind of have ongoing with it can be longer and more detailed because it can hold all that in memory. So you can keep asking questions, and when you come up with something, can you explain more about that? And it can go deeper and deeper because it can hold so much more. Roger comes from a long line of elven warriors, rangers, and adventurers. In Middle Earth, as a young elf, he demonstrated exceptional skill with a bow and arrow and keen instincts in the wilderness. However, as time passed in Middle Earth, there were fewer battles to fight and less need for his skills. Seeking a new purpose, Roger volunteered to journey to the human world and act as a sentinel to monitor for any emerging threats. He adapted to human culture over the centuries, developing a talent for subterfuge, investigation, and blending in. He turned these skills into a career as a private investigator. Though on the surface Roger seems gruff and eccentric, he is good hearted and wants to protect others. He maintains an optimistic spirit despite being displaced from his homeworld. The longer he spends among humans, the more enamored he becomes with their creativity, passion, and drive. When he discovers the mafia boss has unearthed a powerful magical artifact, he realizes this is the moment he's been preparing for. He's eager to reveal his true nature to Mira and do what he was sent to the human world to do, stand against the forces of darkness that threaten humanity. With his elven gifts and modern detective skills combined, Roger sees an opportunity to write a thrilling new chapter in his long life. Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking about Roger already. That didn't really bring many new nuances to his character. Um, I do kind of like that he adapted to human culture over the centuries, developing a talent for subterfuge, investigation, blending in, and he turned those skills into being a private investigator. That's pretty good. You can
It
you
is.
can you can build some backstory on that. So, um, pretty good. Roger, what it came up with Roger is kind of what I was already thinking for Roger. So maybe not as beneficial as Mira's, um, but I'm still not bad. Um, let's see what it can come up with for Sylvester.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it's going to come up with for him. All right. Sylvester grew up on the streets in a rough neighborhood, fighting to survive. As a teen, he got swept up into a local gang, which soon evolved into a ruthless criminal empire under his cunning leadership. Sylvester quickly rose to the ranks, eliminating rivals ruthlessly along the way. Now in his 40s, Sylvester rules over an extensive mafia network involved in extortion, gambling, drugs, and other illicit activities. Handsome yet terrifying, Sylvester exerts an aura of power and danger. He presents himself as a suave businessman, but those who cross him end up disappearing. Sylvester displays a thirst for violence, but also has refined taste. He's obsessed with collecting rare antiques and historical artifacts. He sees it as a mark of his status and sophistication. When he hears about an ancient relic coming up for auction, he pursues it doggedly, not realizing it has magical origins. In stealing this artifact, Sylvester's meddling risks unleashing chaotic forces, but he's arrogant enough not to comprehend the dangers of magics beyond his grasp. Accustomed to getting what he wants through brute force and intimidation, he initially scoffs at the idea of elves and magic interfering with his plans, but he soon realizes he may have bitten off more than he can chew. Okay, again, pretty much in line with the picture I had for Sylvester.
Same
I
here.
do, yeah, I do kind of like what it said there at the end that he was not a believer at first, but now is kind of realizing that he's maybe bitten off more than he can chew. I think there's some meat there that could be beneficial. So now let's see what it can come up with for Sean.
He didn't really do a lot for Sean in the summary.
Yeah, that's
30 something.
yeah. It's liable to just go really sideways on him. Let's see. Sean is a 30 something idealist who moved to the city to open up a quaint, cozy cafe next door to Mira's law firm. Sean grew up in a small town with down to earth values. He saw the cafe as a way to bring community and warmth to an otherwise personal concrete jungle. Sean takes great pride in sourcing high quality ethical ingredients and getting to know his regular customers by name. His cafe soon becomes a respite for the lawyers, businessmen, and others working in the neighborhood. Sean dreams of someday operating or opening up a whole chain of cafes across the country. Outwardly, Sean seems content with his simple ambitions for the cafe, but underneath, he yearns for a greater purpose beyond just serving coffee and pastries. He romanticizes the idea of heroism and adventure. When he gets caught up in Mira and Roger's quest, he's eager to help, hoping to find the meaning and excitement he's been missing. Though Sean has no magical abilities, his courage, integrity, and quick thinking under pressure make him an invaluable ally. His barista skills. I'm sorry, that's funny. His barista skills even unexpectedly come in handy when fighting
Oh,
supernatural
do
foes.
they?
I, I need to see that. Sean realizes he's found his true calling and seizes the opportunity to step up and make a difference. Um, okay,
Oh,
that
but
I mean that's a little Hallmark Christmas movie ish, you know. Let's hit the retry and just see if it has another opportunity, what it can come up with. He moved to the city to open up a quaint, cozy cafe after years toiling away at desk jobs that drained his soul.
that's definitely still Hallmark.
It's still pretty Hallmark, yeah. Sean sees the good in everyone, even those who've gone down rough roads in life. He takes an instant liking to Mira, though she's often too focused on work. Okay, so, you know, all right,
Yeah,
so that wasn't greatly beneficial, but, that adds a little texture to what we're thinking. Let's go back to what we let's ask Claude to do the same thing that we asked ChatGPT for the back cover blurb. Excuse me.
a top lawyer.
Who thinks she knows how the world works? Okay, Mira is a top lawyer who thinks she knows how the world works until a routine case introduces her to an ancient magical artifact and an otherworldly private eye named Roger. Mira's latest client, notorious mafia boss Sylvester, has gotten his hands on the relic with cataclysmic potential. Her handsome cafe owning neighbor, Sean, soon gets roped into the escalating supernatural crisis as well. It kind of reads like an 80s movie trailer voiceover,
It does.
for like a rom-com that to prevent Sylvester from destroying the city, Mira must join forces with Roger, an elf from Middle Earth masquerading as a private investigator. He reveals to her A hidden world of magical creatures and objects coexisting alongside humankind. Now
That's
Mira
pretty in
must,
line with what we thought.
yeah, yeah. Now Mira must navigate between the rigors of the legal system and the fantastical dangers of magic that she's just beginning to grasp, not to mention the fiery spark growing between her and Sean. With time, with time running out, Mira, Roger, and Sean race to recover the relic and restore order to both the courtrooms and the streets. But can Mira find a way to thwart Sylvester's plans while keeping his secrets safe as his counsel? In this thrilling adventure, Mira's skills are put to the ultimate test as she tries to save the city and her career in one fell swoop.
Oh, and her
Um,
career. That's a
and
new
her
one.
career. Yeah, yeah. I thought I kind of added that line this morning when I was thinking about the attorney client privilege, because if she's working as an attorney, if she exposes everything that Sylvester's up to, then she could, you know, that could be the end of her career. She could be disbarred. So, I like that all of these AI tools are kind of taking that into account. Um, so, again, uh not the best, but it's kind of building on our ideas. Um so uh let's see. Okay. Let's ask it to develop these story beats from Save the Cat. And let's see if Claude ChatGPT developed the beats pretty well for us, and we were pretty happy with how that turned out. Let's see how Claude handles it. Okay, opening image theme stated setup catalyst. Okay, it's following the beats. Okay, the debate. This is interesting that Mira is tempted by Sylvester's lucrative deal to represent him, but Roger warns her Sylvester is dangerous. That brings Roger closer to the beginning of the story than I initially thought about. But that could be good. That he's wary of him from the beginning. Fun and games beat. Roger shadows Sylvester, sees artifacts magic firsthand, tries to convince Mira they're in peril. Action adventures. Mira gets embroiled deeper in the mystical world. Okay. Finale, climactic confrontation battle. Mira gets evidence against Sylvester legally while Roger focuses on the artifact. Finally, restore artifacts safely to its magical home. Final image. Mira opens the door to uh, the revived law firm, ready to start a new chapter. Hints at romance with Sean in the future. Okay, I think it's interesting that it kind of developed a final image for us that could set up into a series. That's interesting. I find. Okay, where Chat GPT fell short was then developing a 25 chapter outline from those beats. Let's see if we give Claude that same exact prompt. Can you take the 15 story beats and develop a 25 chapter outline for this novel? Okay, we're going to prompt it the exact way that we prompted ChatGPT, and let's see what it can come up with. Okay, again, it's chapter 1, opening image, chapter 2, theme stated, chapter 3, setup. So it's not breaking these beats into multiple chapters again. So that's going to be a bit,
Actually,
well, or is it? Okay, well, maybe it is because there's the break into 3, which is the break into Act 3. Um, okay, let's look over this a little closer. Chapter 1, opening image. Mira is introduced as a powerful lawyer negotiating aggressively on an important case call. So it just shows her in her normal life. Chapter 2, theme stated. Mira reflects on her firm's motto: things aren't always as they appear. and
I
how
like
it
how
guides her work.
that's their motto.
Right, right. That's a little sketch, but okay. Um, Chapter 3, the setup. Mira takes on new client Sylvester and hires Roger to investigate his background. The Catalyst, Chapter 4, Sylvester secures a mysterious artifact at auction that has magical properties unknown to him. Okay, so far each of the story beats is taking exactly one chapter, which is not so sure about that. The debate. Roger warns Mira that Sylvester is dangerous, but Mira is tempted by his lucrative case. Chapter 6, break into two. Despite warnings, Mira takes Sylvester on as a client. I do like that. That adds a little tension there between Mira and Roger. I'm assuming that the warnings are from Roger. Yeah, because in Chapter 5, Roger warns Mira. Chapter 7, we introduce Sean at the cafe. They bond over feeling restless. All right, Hallmark. Chapter 8, investigating the artifact. Roger shadows Sylvester and sees firsthand the artifact's magical power. Chapter 9, convincing Mira. Roger tries to tell Mira they are in grave magical peril, but she is skeptical. Chapter 10, Mira starts researching the mystical world to understand the stakes. Chapter 11, magical close call. 12, the midpoint switch. 13, digging deeper. Mira, Sean, and Roger delve deeper into artifacts' history and powers. Chapter
That's a
14,
pretty
romance.
slow book.
It is. Yeah. Chapter 18, tensions boil over, fights with Sylvester and confrontations, the legal case. The break into 3, Sean inspires Mira with his faith in her to renew her determination. Chapter 23, putting the plans in motion, preparing for the final confrontation with Sylvester. 24, epic battle. Mira outmaneuvers Sylvester legally and magically. Chapter 25, final resolution. Artifacts safely returned home. Mira begins a new chapter in law and love. Again, not perfect, but if you are like me and Sam and outline averse, shall we say, this might help to kind of see the structure of your novel from kind of a 50,000 foot view, and kind of see how it breaks out, and maybe this could help you to start developing an outline, or at least give you a beginning place to start editing an outline. So maybe put this in your Dabble document, and then you could start moving some things around, or speeding up some chapters, or just go through. If in a lot of cases, it's staring at the blank screen is just terrible. But you could, if you have some ideas, editing those ideas, and you could say, opening image mirrors introduces a powerful lawyer negotiating aggressively on an important case call. Okay, that's a great, that sparks all kinds of ideas about how to describe her typical workaday life. Chapter 2 reflects on a firm's motto, things aren't always as they appear. That's a little on the nose. I know your theme stated is kind of supposed to be on the nose, but not. I mean, that's very much a little on the nose. So maybe we could rework that. That's another thing to revisit. But as you've got something now to start molding and shaping, and we've used AI tools to get us this far, and I feel like by using them in this way, we're not compromising our creative life. We still have to do the writing, but if you've ever taken a writing class, you have encountered writing prompts where someone says, write a story about, and they describe a prompt to you. This is kind of, think of it in that way. This is ChatGPT or Claude is giving you writing prompts, and you can edit those writing prompts to set you up for the best success that you can have before you start writing it. So anyway, I wanted to take this hour to kind of look at AI tools, what's available now, what's the reality of what they can accomplish, and what is just kind of overblown hype and fear at this point. I feel like there's a lot of debate around what it's going to do to the writing community, and some of those fears are overblown. Some of them are ones we need to watch. Let's watch how this technology develops and what it comes to. But as it stands right now, let's use these to our benefit while we can. So that's kind of where I am on these. Um, Thank you all for joining us for this Preptober series that we've done. Sam, this has been so much fun doing this with you. Thank you for
It
being my
has. Thank
co-pilot.
you.
And I hope that we've all learned a little something along the way. I know I have every time that I get in and start digging around and going through the creative process. I learned something, and I hope everybody else did too. Sam, we will see you next week in the Storycraft Cafe as we kick off NaNoWriMo. I know that you and Keo have a bunch of stuff planned for if people are not familiar with the Storycraft Cafe and are looking for a community to help them with their writing life, what can they expect to see in the month of November over at storycraft.cafe?
For November, we've got daily prompts. This month, it'll be more story driven prompts instead of world building or character development. There's sprints weekly. We've got sprint marathons on Saturday. November will be the Saturday marathons will go earlier to later than they
Okay.
did in past months to accommodate different time zones. There's Monday night sprints. We've got workshop Wednesdays. How did you do this week? Did you meet your goal? Are you having issues with something? Can people help you out with ideas?
Nice. And that's at storycraft.cafe. It's free to join. Come find your writing tribe. There are we've got over 1,000 members. There's someone there uh, who can help you, encourage you. Maybe you can help and you can encourage someone else. That always I find when I'm looking for help that offering help to someone else is always a benefit to both of us. Um, Thank you guys for joining us. Sam, we'll see you over at the Storycraft Cafe.
Yeah.